Hello students, welcome back. So how is life? I'm sure you're not too happy staying for so long at home, but believe me, we understand. So idea is not to stop your studies and also keep helping your parents at home. So today I am here to introduce you to the lesson A Triumph of Surgery, written by Dr. James Herriot. Dr. James Herriot, you already studied a few of his lessons in your early classes, and he is a doctor for animals. We call him a vet. And now I'm going to present a PowerPoint presentation. There'll be attractive slides and some animations. I want you to please enjoy, but later on, I also want you to please go through the lesson, read the lesson, and enjoy the humor and the tiny anecdotes given by Dr. James Herriot. Over to the PowerPoint presentation. I'll be sharing the PowerPoint presentation. The main characters are, of course, James Herriot, the doctor, Mrs. Pumphrey, and not to forget, dog Tricky. The theme is not just one, but also there are many sub-themes. But the first one is how we should take care of our pet animals. And it is important to strike a balance between showering our love and also to maintain strict discipline and to follow the rules. Feed the animals what is their rightful diet. Over-pampering does not mean you love the pet anymore. And the sub-theme is the deft and expert handling of the animal by Dr. James Herriot, and also the situation where he manages to bring Tricky back to good health, but at the same time, he also does not break the heart of Mrs. Pumphrey, and he handles the situation quite well. Tricky is a dog owned by Mrs. Pumphrey. Now I'm going to give you a brief summary and analysis of the entire lesson. He is used to over-pampering and overindulgence by his owner, Mrs. Pumphrey. She feeds him with all kinds of sweetmeats, chocolates, ice creams, donuts, cream cakes, brandy, and crates of eggs. But no exercise. So we can guess what could have happened to Tricky. He grows into a fat and obese dog. And soon the Herriot is now expecting a call very soon from Mrs. Pumphrey, and guess what? The call definitely arrived, and she is in a panic that Tricky is not eating anything, and he is sick, and he is breathless and panting and refusing to eat anything. And there arrives our Dr. Herriot. He takes Tricky away with him and makes sure and assures Mrs. Pumphrey that he is going to treat Tricky, and surgery is very essential. But children, do you think surgery was actually required for Tricky? Let us read the lesson. I want you to read the lesson. It is very interesting and at the same time very funny. Now starts the real treatment. So here, students, So here students start the real treatment, and Dr. Harriet, instead of any medicine or surgery, then he treats Tricky like any other dog. There are many other dogs as well who had come to his clinic for treatment, and Tricky starts to enjoy with those dogs. He is not given any food for 2 days except for a bowl of water, and Tricky approaches the bowl, takes a sip, and shows some interest in the surrounding. Eventually, all the dogs befriend him. They chase mice at night, they scrounge for food, and Tricky learns to fight for his bowl of food and grows more active and agile. Over a period of 7 days or 7 to 10 days, Tricky grows into a hale and hearty and a lithe, muscled, and a healthy dog. Now, Mrs. Pumphrey is worried on her side. She decides to send crates and crates of eggs and brandy for Tricky. But tell me, did he actually need the brandy and so many eggs per week? So instead of giving all these goodies to Tricky, Dr. Harriet shares all these goodies with his own clinic staff, and they have a gala time partying with brandy at night and eggs in the breakfast. But yes, he is not a very evil doctor. He is a very simple-hearted and a genuine person, and he decides that it is now time to hand over Tricky to his mistress, Mrs. Pumphrey. And now they call the lady, and Tricky is taken back to his house, and there the story ends. But the question is, do you think that Tricky is going to remain healthy and agile and active the way he was at the clinic? Or do you think Mrs. Pumphrey is going to pamper him with sweetmeats and goodies, once again making him bloated and obese? I leave that question for you to answer. Now, I will show you the PowerPoint presentation once again. There are some questions for you to answer. Yes. Now, these are some of the important questions. The RTC, the expected call came within a few days. Mrs. Pumphrey was distraught. So which expected call is being mentioned? You can all guess the telephonic call, who could have called whom. So that is quite easy. And who was Mrs. Pumphrey, of course. And what do you mean by the word distraught? Now, the second RTC. I'll just take some time. Yeah. The second RTC, poor old lad. You haven't a kick in you, but I think I know a cure for you. Okay. Who is you and who is I? Whom is Dr. Harriet talking to? You can understand. Okay. And there's an idiom here, a kick in you. What does it mean? And then there are some MCQs. Then there are the short answer questions. And these are, again, once you read the lesson, they should not be too difficult. Why did Mrs. Pumphrey feel compelled to feed Tricky cream cakes and chocolate? What were her reasons? Was Tricky a weak animal? Or do you think he wanted to eat all those? Or what was her reason? Okay, how was Tricky different from other dogs at the clinic? There's a very interesting paragraph here which you have to read. And as you go through the paragraph, you will find that the other dogs were more active, they were more friendly, but on the other hand, Tricky was more lazy and isolated and reclusive. So please use the right kind of words. I'm also looking at your vocabulary. Okay. And again, next question, what extra goodies were sent by Mrs. Pumphrey to the clinic? I just answered that in my previous explanation, right? And now the long answer questions. You can also call them as
extrapolative answers, global questions, or value-based questions. Okay. In what way was Mrs. Pumphrey like a parent, blinded by love for her child? How can such love be counterproductive? And do you think? Please justify the story, the title of the story as well. So these are the questions which I want all of you to please write the proper answers looking at the word limit in your notebooks. And the minute we all get back, once the school reopens, I would like to go through all your assignments done in a neat manner. I'm switching off my PowerPoint presentation. There are also some links here which I would like to show you. Give me. Yeah, these are the links. And please open the links. I'll try if I can open it. Yeah, I think the link has opened on Google browser. So it's a beautiful. There'll be some ads. Please try to delete all those
my
ads.
channel, hit the bell icon to never miss an update, and do give me a.
Yeah. So this is the presentation. I'll play it for you.
Some stories, and this is one of his very accepted and very likable.
Yeah. As you can see,
he sees a familiar dog whom he has seen before, and it is nobody else but Tricky. And he sees that Tricky has put on a lot of weight, he's unable to move, he's panting, and he has completely bloated up, he's looking very healthy. So Mr. Harriet is very worried about him, and he pulls up in front of Mrs. Pumphrey to talk to her about it. So let's assume this is Mrs. Pumphrey. We have given such an image because Mrs. Pumphrey is a very rich woman, and this is what this entire story is about, that how this rich woman has spoiled thing and a dog goes and brings it back. That's a very good exercise for them because it involves a lot of running and all. But the gardener who used to play with Tricky, he was unwell, and so even Tricky has stopped playing. And now Tricky only takes very small walks. Mr. Harriet tries to get out of Mrs. Pumphrey as to what she's been feeding him, what kind of food is he eating. But in spite of warnings, she has continued to feed him sweets like cream cakes and chocolates. But the doctor had clearly told her not to do so because it was affecting his health. But she tells him that now even the dog is refusing to eat even his favorite items like she's going to call him, and that he knows that Tricky is going to fall sick if she doesn't mend her ways. Now his intuition was completely true. In just a few days, Mrs. Pumphrey calls him and she tells him that Tricky is going under bouts of vomiting. He's refusing to eat, he's refusing to walk, and he only lied in one place on his rug and panted. Panted is heavy breathing that a dog does when they feel sick or when they are tired for that matter. And he even that he would need a special cure for him. And just then he develops an idea. So what is that idea? Is he going to perform a surgery? Is he going to put him on medication? Let's find out. As soon as he reaches the surgery is a veterinary home where there are also other sick dogs. He sees that a lot of his other dogs come surround him, they lick him because they all have they have an attachment with Mr. Harriet now because he treats them every day. And they see that Mr. Harriet has also come with a new member, and they sniff Tricky and they move away. So when Tricky was at home with Mrs. Pumphrey, he used to lay on a very nice dog bed, but here he just puts him in a bed box kind of a thing, and he says that he is not going to put him on any medical attention immediately. He just wanted to observe about what Tricky was responding to and what he was not responding to. So for two improving in his health, maybe he could start eating the old things again. So she started dropping off some things for him. So first she sent 2 dozen eggs every now and then because she thought that by eating boiled eggs, Tricky would be stronger. Then in some days she brought in wine and she told Mr. Harriet that if he will have wine, if Tricky will have wine, it will enrich his blood, and then started coming in brandy, which is when Mr. Harriet realized that these are not the kind of things that a dog is supposed to eat or drink, which is the reason why he fell sick. The sugar and the extra eggs and the wine and the brandy are not things that a dog should be eating. So Mr. Harriet doesn't give any of this to Kitty. Mr. Harriet and the other doctors and caretakers in the surgery, they enjoy the eggs for breakfast every day. First is bloodshot. Bloodshot is red eyes because of illness or tiredness. This is a word that is used in the initial few paragraphs to describe Kitty's condition. Rheumy is watery, having watery eyes. Lolled is to stand or sit in a relaxed manner. Relent is less severe. I'm sorry. On the third, it is to stand or sit in a relaxed manner. I've repeated the word.
Okay, students, that was the PowerPoint presentation, and that was also the YouTube link, and it is very well recorded, and there's a good commentary, and you will enjoy it. Please do see and take out time to watch both the videos and both the YouTube links and also the associated questions. I hope I had done a good justice and made this lessons sound interesting, but believe me, I would have loved it more had I been able to come in contact with you, and we would have done it in the classroom. But yes, the situation demands that there has to be a change in technique, so we are okay with it. And you all are very strong children. I'm sure you understand the delicacy of the matter. And my last request to you all will be to stay home, stay healthy, and take care of yourself, and do be a good help to your parents. Okay? And I'm giving you the PowerPoint presentation. Please open it, watch it. The YouTube links are for you to open and enjoy.